Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another video. And I wanted to record this for you today because I went back to Connecticut just recently, and I got to see my mother. And the first thing we did when we got home is we went out sourcing. Now, most of the thrift stores at the time that I'm recording this video were closed, so we were trying to figure out how can we find some books, how can we find some DVDs, how can we find some board games, items like that to flip on Amazon. And, my mom and I, we go out sourcing all the time together. But since I haven't seen her in 3 months because I moved to Miami, I wanted to go out sourcing with her, and then I was going to just give her everything that I found just to make her happy and whatnot, because she's been selling on Amazon for, over 5-6 years now. So anyways, I was trying to think about where we can go sourcing. All the libraries were closed. The thrift stores were closed. There were no garage sales going on. But I want to go out sourcing, so I thought, you know what, let's go to some consignment stores. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone to a consignment store. A lot of people don't source from consignment stores because they're typically very expensive. But I want to share this with you because this works. This works very, very well. And in this particular time, with all this craziness going on and stores have been closed for like over a month, consignment stores have started to open up recently, at least in Connecticut. And we absolutely crushed it. We absolutely crushed it going to a bunch of consignment stores in the area. And I want to share with you the results that we had gotten from the first consignment store and give you a tip. So pretty much the way consignment stores work is they typically have a price on each item. And depending on what consignment store you go to, a lot of them do have books, a lot of them do have board games, a lot of them do have toys. And every consignment store is a little bit different, but the ones in our area, they have a price on each item, and they usually have one price that's like the price for today, and then they have a price underneath it that says, after May 1st or after June 15th, the price is 50% off. So with all the stores being closed down over the last couple of months, everything was 50% off here. Now, depending on what consignment store you go to, some you're gonna have to wait till it goes 50% off because things are just really expensive. Consignment stores are typically anywhere from 25 to 50% higher than thrift store prices. So, you just gotta go and check out the consignment stores in your area. But the ones in our area, a lot of times for the books, for the DVDs, and for the board games, you can pay full price. But with all the stores being closed down, everything was half off. So all the DVDs were anywhere from 50 cents to $1.50. The books were all $1 to $3 each. The board games were like $4 to $6 each. And the thing about consignment stores is there's typically a higher quality product that you're going to find because they're picky. They're not going to just take any and everything to sell, such as a thrift store. So with board games, you're typically going to find them brand new with the seal, which is great. As you know, brand new board games sell like hotcakes on Amazon for really good prices. And in terms of books, you're typically going to find a better quality book. And sometimes you'll even find books that are brand new over there. A lot of fiction books that have never been read. Some are even sealed, so on and so forth. And then the nonfiction books sometimes are just really popular and can make you good money. Again, when it comes to books, you want to stay away from like the mass-produced books, the ones like the Twilight and just the books that everybody knows. Those typically aren't going to sell for a lot, but sometimes you'll find some really niche down, interesting nonfiction books at the consignment store. So anyways, we went there. Everything was 50% off because stores were closed down for the last 2 months and all the good stuff was still there. We found a camera lens over there as well that was selling for over $150 on eBay. That was $24, which is absolutely crushed it. We found probably over 30 DVDs at this first store. We found over 10 books that are probably going to net us over $100 profit. We found a bunch of Seen It board games. We found all different types of stuff. We even found, I forget what they were called. I can't think of it, but there was these little action figures that were brand new in the box that were sold for $14 each, that were $1 each, that you could buy for $1 and flip them for $14. So you're probably netting like $7 profit. Had a 67,000 rank on Amazon. So consignment stores are a great place to go. Most people aren't going there to buy and resell items. Most people who go to consignment stores are, they're just end consumers who don't want to pay as much as, go into like a retail store, and maybe sometimes you could save a little bit more money compared to like a Ross or a Marshalls. Sometimes the consignment prices are a little bit lower. Typically they are maybe 25% lower than like Marshalls and TJ Maxx, especially for clothing and stuff like that. But start going to consignment stores. Now, like I said, not every single consignment store is going to have all the products that you're looking to resell, such as books and board games if you're flipping on Amazon. And for the most part, when it comes to clothing, I've found that it's somewhat difficult to flip clothing from consignment stores to eBay unless there's like a really, really steep discount. So typically they run a 50% off after like a month or two. Then after that, they drop it to 75% and 90%, depending on the rules that the consignee is holding with their clients and stuff, the people who are consigning with them. So consignment stores are an interesting sourcing avenue. Not every single one's going to have the products you want. Some are going to be priced ridiculously high. Other consignment stores are willing to work with you. And I think it's just an interesting way to source. You're not going to scale a huge business going to consignment stores. You're typically going to find less products than a thrift store. You're not going to find like home run steals, such as like, when you go to a garage sale or something maybe off of Facebook Marketplace. But there's less competition going to the consignment stores for the most part. The quality of products is much higher. If you find the right honey hole consignment store, you can really crush it. It's kind of like finding a really good pawn shop. Some pawn shops are ridiculously overpriced, and it's really hard to make money. But if you build relationships, or if you get lucky, or you find a consignment store that's like really willing to work with you, you can make some money, and you don't have to spend hours at a consignment store. They're typically cleaner, more organized. Things are sectioned off better at a consignment store versus a thrift store, so you don't really have to spend hours and hours and hours picking. You can find some really, really rare clothing pieces at consignment stores if you could get it 50% off at times. So definitely look through the clothing, but the clothing is going to be much more expensive. But keep an eye out for the brand new with tag clothing. Yesterday I almost popped in it was a really nice Vineyard Vines long sleeve dress shirt. Had the logo on the front. It was beautiful, but it was just priced a little too high, so I passed on it. But you can definitely find somebody flipping clothing over there. So let me know what your experience is going to consignment stores. But just want to make this video sharing a really cool score that we had yesterday with Mama Profit. It was my first time coming back to Connecticut from Miami, and we crushed it. And when we were checking out, the total came to like, I don't know what the total came to. It was like $49 or something, or $69, and I had purchased a, what's it called? It was an American Girl horse. It wasn't a Breyer horse. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those American Girl horses. They're really big. They're like this big. I popped on one for $5. I was selling for like $50, and then I told my mom, you could have everything else. So when she went to go pay, I said, no, keep your credit card. I'm paying for everything. And she's like, what do you mean you're paying for everything? Because she's like that. And I'm like, I'm taking care of you, all right? I've been in Miami for the last 3 months. I've got you. And she's like, oh my God, my son is so sweet. So let me tell you right now, if you have a mother or a loved one or a boyfriend or girlfriend, treat them every once in a while. It's a great way to connect with your family and friends. And I don't know, it really does make you feel good when you're able to just pass the profits on to someone you care about. And, I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction. When you give, when you come from a place out of your heart and you share the wealth, you share the knowledge, it comes back, it flows back to you so quickly. So, hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. If you enjoyed this video, do us a big favor and smash that like button. Leave a comment down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.